One of the words you're going to hear an awful lot of in this course is civilization. And this is no doubt a word that you've seen used in many contexts before. But in the context of this class in ancient history, what do we mean by civilization? On this slide are some very early definitions of civilization from the Oxford English Dictionary. As you can see, 1775, civilization, the state of being civilized or the act of civilizing. And then by 1828, then we have the description some writers give of the civilization of mankind by the spontaneous origin among tribes of savages of the various arts of life, one by one. Today, we kind of think that those are rather biased and out-of-date definitions of civilization. So, instead, how do we categorize civilizations as historians today? Well, one way to do it is to ascribe different characteristics that make for a civilization. 6 of them are here on this slide. Number 1, an urban focus as cities become the centers of development. Number 2, a distinct religious structure. Number 3, new political and military structures. Number 4, a social structure based on economic power. Number 5, the development of writing. And number 6, new forms of artistic and intellectual activity. I think probably the development of writing is the most important to us from a historical perspective, since as historians we use documents, what people have written down, as our way of knowing what happened in the past. So if we take all these characteristics into account, can we say that civilization just popped out of nowhere overnight then? The answer to that is no. It means that from the very beginnings of human history, there have always been elements of civilization, and it is not a clear-cut definition at all. For example, some cities were established incredibly early. For example, Jericho was established before 8000 BC. Where did these early civilizations originate in the world though? They didn't just appear universally all over the world overnight. And some of the best known early ones are listed here, including the Indus River in India, the Yellow River in China, Egypt, which we're going to look at next week, in Central Asia, particularly around the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, and Central Asia in around Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan, as we know them today. Those, by the way, are recent archaeological discoveries, and the Supe River in Peru. Now you might have noticed that although these places are all over the globe, they have some commonalities. What causes the leap to a civilization in all of these places? Well, they're all river valleys. They also have dependable rainfall. Another thing they've got in common is agriculture. And finally, they have the cooperation of large numbers of people. So these are traits that they all have in common, and I want you to bear those in mind as we look this week at Mesopotamia. What elements of this does Mesopotamia have?